Welcome everyone, Team 7 on another adventure. Well, not really another adventure, another ship review. And this time, it's Norwegian Prima, another polarizing ship. So, what do you think?
Polarizing?
Very polarizing. People loved it, people hated it. That's polarizing. Yeah? No? Okay, you nod your head, they can't hear you. Anyway, let's just start off with the design portion of the ship. Yeah, the outside spaces were pretty cool. The hotel spaces, interior, completely dumb. Probably one of the dumbest ships we've ever been on.
Which ones? You said the inside spaces?
The inside spaces. Like, got off elevators and you looked around, nothing was inviting you outside. You had to look around corners, doors were hidden, everything ran through something else. It was just silly. The design was just completely asinine.
Yeah, the deck levels were relatively weird in that you didn't necessarily get a full look down the ship. However, I thought the design was rather easy, right? Because everything was on 6, 7, 8. And then from there, it was 16, 17, 18. So that was where everything was majority at. So in that concept, it was easy. But some places, where things were.
But some places you couldn't find, like Indulge. If you didn't know you had to go through the local to get to Indulge, you never would have found that on accident.
No, I agree.
Unless you was outside walking around, like we were outside on deck 8 and walked around the ship and seen it, and then we got inside the ship and was like, where the hell was Indulge? Like, we had to think about it before we actually got there.
Definitely, when we first got there, had to look at a map to know where things were at. But the fact that things were only on the majority of the dining and stuff.
But that's every ship. Every ship is designed like that, where everything's on a few decks.
In my opinion, I didn't think, it was weird. I totally agree that going in and out doors, not being able to see down the entire corridor and having to go, I thought that was really weird. But the number of decks and the way it was laid, I thought it was it wasn't horrible to try to get used to.
I thought it was horrible. I just thought it was horrible, especially in this day and age with all these open promenades where you could look down the ship and see everything, and then everything is to the outside. Mm-hmm. So I thought in this modern day and age where, that old antiquated ship design where you had to walk through things and you couldn't even get a feel of the ship, how it looked in the interior space, because everything was so small and tight. Like, that ship definitely should have been bigger. That ship should have been at least 170,000 gross tons, not 142. So, I mean, that's my opinion. But yeah, you could never get I couldn't even tell you if it was a good looking ship or not, because you never got a chance to actually look at the ship. So, yeah, from the outside, deck 8, walking around the outside was cool. On the inside, on the hotel area, I thought there was a lot to be desired, which takes me to entering the ship. We entered the ship through the theater, and you're in that tight little hallway that goes in and out the theater. What do they call the theater? Prima Theater. What is it called? What else would it be called? The Prima Theater. And you come down that one hallway, and you're in this tight little area with, this wood and lights, and you never ever felt like, like some of the other ships, you walk in one of the Carnival ships where you walk into the atrium, or like when you walk into Mardi Gras, you got this big grand, or even Norwegian's other ships where you have these big atrium areas that got these huge chandeliers. There was none of that. So it was just weird. I think entering the ship was confusing as hell. You didn't even know which deck you came in on. You had no idea, So when it was time to disembark, you're like, man, where the hell we came in? Even us. I had to go back and look at the video of us entering the ship to know how to exit the ship. So, and we've been on a lot of ships, and I've never had to do that before. So I thought that was crazy. And then the pool deck, the sail away party, all the loungers being out and stuff like that, where you really didn't have any space to dance.
Well, the space was tight anyway. By the time we got to the point that they were going to do the sail away, I feel like some of the loungers should have been picked up so that there was more space to actually have a sail away party, but there really wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. It never really was,
It was
a
just
deck
people
party.
laying out at the pool.
Exactly, and they played music. You had this little space area, so it's completely different than the way we've done it on other ships, even other Norwegian ships. So yeah, it was weird. I think it was. I don't know.
Yeah, if you were dancing, you were literally dancing like right in front
Of the pool,
of the
in between the
bar.
lounges and the bars. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really conducive for that.
Speaking of the bar, here we are, another Norwegian ship with a pool bar with huge chairs in front of the pool bar. Let me tell you something.
Were absolutely huge.
I absolutely hate that. That if there's one thing that needs to go away on all cruise ships is chairs in front of the bar at the pool. That is just unnecessary. That just people congregate there. It's always the busiest bar on the ship, and you can never really get a drink. There's always a million people in front of you. Now, granted, on Prima, they had a bunch of bartenders. They had 7, 8 bartenders behind the bar. So you got drinks a little bit faster, which was completely opposite of Encore. When, Encore, I can't tell you how much I can't stand Encore. Maybe it's better now that it's going to Alaska, but being on Encore, I couldn't stand it. Here, they had bigger chairs in front of the bar. They had 8 or 9 bartenders to try and expedite drinks. I still think chairs in front of the pool bar is silly. I think all cruise lines should go away from it.
Or if they are going to do it, only have a limited section, but then leave a whole section open with just stand up, like,
yeah,
where you have to actually walk up to the bar.
Yeah. Well, and for us too, is the only reason why also too I'm so against it, because we go on Royal ships, and Royal Caribbean doesn't have any. We was on Mariner. Mariner had a bar that was 3 times smaller than Prima was, and there was no chairs in front of it, and everything flowed. Everything flowed. People got their drinks and left. Got their drinks and left. Got their drinks and left. So here you have the same exact Mariner and Prima, same exact size ship, same amount of people, and Mariner was just handling it a lot better with a smaller bar. And it's got everything to do with those chairs being at the bar. So, other little hiccup, the staterooms. I still think the stateroom thing is silly, that we have to put one adult in each room. When our kids are 18 and 19, we still got to put someone 21 in one room. Or I still think that's silly. That'll never make sense to me. All the cruise lines do it, and
I think that's pretty consistent from all the cruise lines. And I think that there should be some sort of waiver, like once your kids to get a certain age, either that or give me an extra key, or allow me to transfer, like the entitlement for one of them to another person. I know all cruise lines do it, so it's like one of those things. It's a nuance between everybody. It's not like just it's a Norwegian thing. They all do it. The one thing though I did not like is that I did the online check-in for both staterooms, and because I used the same credit card number, so the credit card number that I have is in different names, one under my husband's name, one under Anthony's name, one under my name, but because it's the exact same credit card, it actually, as soon as we got on and started charging, like I think we got
2 drinks and they blocked it immediately.
No, we didn't do that. We got the escape room, and then I booked the race car, the how do you call that? The
go-kart track.
The go-karts. So I booked those 2 items, and then they immediately froze my account, which really didn't make a lot of sense because I signed all the authorizations and everything online, so it shouldn't have been blocked. But because it was the same credit card for both, I had to go to the front desk, and then they had to do something else behind to combine everything, which I thought was very silly.
Yeah. So basically, you go to guest services, you fill out a paper to put both rooms on one credit card. So you can't have the same credit card on 2 rooms, but you can go to guest services and have 2 rooms on one credit card. That was just silly.
It's the same thing.
All you had to do was sign a piece of paper. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird. I've never had any other cruise line block us for having a credit card, the same credit card for 2 rooms.
For 2 rooms. Yeah, exactly. But then go to guest services and they say, oh, you know what? You can't have 2 credit cards. You can't have 2 rooms on one credit card. But if you sign this paper here, we can combine both rooms to one credit card. That was the dumbest. Yo, my brain melted. Like I couldn't even.
That really didn't make a lot of sense.
That didn't make no sense. I was like, what the hell? And I'm telling you, this ship really was going out of its way to piss me off. At that point, I was like, bro, here we go. Another new Norwegian ship that's just going to be an absolute nightmare for me. But stick around. See how it all turned out. Also, too, on the upside, you can tell it was a Fincantieri ship. Definitely wasn't a Mayaworth ship. It was Fincantieri because Fincantieri has bigger rooms. You know, we were thinking too, like, man, the hallways are so narrow. But as soon as we got in the room and you see all that space was given back to the room was excellent. It had great room. Bathrooms were the best bathrooms we've had on a cruise ship.
Agreed.
You know, so it definitely wasn't a Mayaworth ship with
Besides
those skinny rooms.
That we had.
Besides the suite.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then what else? Oh, not enough space on sea days. I think that was another downer. It was another
There was not
mark.
enough loungers.
Definitely not enough loungers. Definitely not.
On any of the decks.
Oh yeah, especially deck 8. Deck 8 is an open oceanside deck, and you just couldn't get a lounge on sea days. In fact, on the last sea day, I was walking around deck 8 at 6 a.m. and there was people already out on the beds and stuff. All the lounges were already taken. Like people were up already putting their stuff on lounges, and yeah, they had people walking around putting stickers on loungers. You know, 30 minutes, whatever. But if you wasn't sitting there at the time, people would walk by and they would come to the chair and pull the sticker off and then just keep walking. So it really didn't make any difference at all. So they definitely need to do something with the lounger situation. So, and then the art installation on deck 8 where they could have put loungers there. I don't know. There was the art installation on the ocean walk or whatever they called it, walking around on deck 8. There was no reason for that. You know, all that artwork and stuff like that, just, you know, leave that to the Oasis class ship that has the room, you know? They just didn't have the room for that. Especially on that ship, it was just wasted space. It should have been a larger ship. And then the smoking area, they had that smoking area in the corner, which was definitely an afterthought. You know, I've heard a lot of people talk about how it was going to be a smoke-free ship and whatever, and then they decided to put a smoking area last minute. I don't know if that's true or not, but it definitely seems that way. They had that one little smoking area in the back on, what is that, deck 18, I believe. Definitely seemed that way. So if you're a smoker, you just get one little corner. So,
It was next to the bar, though.
No, it wasn't. The smoking area was all the way in the back, behind the wave, behind the water slide. You know, behind that, which was another thing. One water slide. That one water slide, 3 dry slides. That's it. There was only one water slide, the wave.
2 dry slides.
3 dry slides. There was the drop, and then the other side was 2 in 1.
Oh.
So there was 3 dry slides, which went down 10 decks from, deck 18 down to deck 8. And, you know, one of those things. Nobody cares about dry slides. Just like the Abyss. Nobody really cares. It seems like an afterthought. Nobody was really getting on it. The times were wonky. You know, open 2 hours here and then close an hour and then open 3 hours. You know, so the dry slide thing, that's another thing. Just
I never really saw a line for it.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and plus it's a dry slide. Now you want to talk about mismanaging a venue? Let me tell you something. That theater had so much potential. They could literally have concerts at sea in that theater.
The theater was really cool.
That was one of the coolest theaters I've ever seen.
Cool
Land or not land, it was one of the, you know, where all the seats slid back, and you'll see it in the video. All the seats slide back. It's a completely open floor, or it can come out halfway, and so many options. So many options, but they didn't take advantage of it. They had the one Donna Summer concert. Well, the Donna Summer musical. And then they had the dance thing after.
Which was really great, by the way.
Oh yeah, Donna Summer was great.
It was great. All the performers were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donna Summer was amazing.
Yeah, and the ceiling in that theater was pretty awesome. It's funny too, because I walked in there, I looked at the ceiling, I said, you know what make that ceiling cooler? If it moved up and down. And sure as shit, it moved up and down. So yeah, that ceiling was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty awesome. So no traditional arcade, which might be a turnoff for some. You have kids, Galaxy Pavilion was Galaxy Pavilion. Didn't disappoint. Or I should say, continued to disappoint. Because it was an issue on Encore, and it was an issue on Prima.
So on Encore was an issue, I think, just because it was super busy.
And we had to be there with them.
Exactly.
We had to be there with them.
But on this one, it was an issue because nothing was working. And there was only like 1 or 2 people manning all the attractions, the different games. So
exactly. So it was understaffed, and half the things were broken. And you know, you have one of those little virtual reality cars that hold 8 people, but only 2 people can ride at a time because only 2 headsets were working. I mean, that stuff, like, same thing with Encore with the virtual reality laser tag that didn't work. I mean, come on, move on. Find something else to entertain people, because that's obviously not working, you know? So, what else? What else do we have? Oh, Nama and Indulge, the food. Those spots were great. Indulge, awesome concept.
I thought the food overall was pretty good. And Nama and Indulge were
those were the standouts. Yeah, Indulge was a standout. Nama was right there. Main dining room was it was the same food every day, was it? No, main dining room was the same food every day.
I don't remember.
It was the same food every day.
I feel like we went a couple times, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, main dining room was the same food every day. Same food every day. If you wanted any variation, you had to do one of the specialty restaurants or eat the buffet. Was doing different things every day. But the main dining room, I guess that's the way everybody's going. But it was the same food every day, and people complain about the food being the same every day and the design of the ship. We heard that all week long. So, premium drink package, premium plus drink package.
Yeah, you need to get that.
That's the way to go. You sit down, you get 2 bottles of water, 2 drinks. Yeah, that's premium plus is the way to go. Monster was included. You know, water was included. Like, people were upset.
They gave you liter bottles of water.
Yeah.
You can get 2 every time you went up to the bar.
Yeah, 2. So. Yeah, and it was us 2 all the time. So you would get 2. I would get 2. Yeah, 2 per person, plus a drink if you wanted a drink.
Yeah.
So that was premium plus package. That's obviously the way to go.
So Starbucks wasn't included in that, but
who cares? But
you could go to the bars that made espresso and just ask for your classic Americano with shots or whatever, with espresso shots, or if you wanted espresso, you can get it from there as well, and it was included in the package.
I think the premium plus package is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and it was not expensive at all. For a 7-day, I want to say we each paid about $170, right? Because the normal cruise, they gave you 150 minutes. Our cruise, they gave us 150 minutes of internet, 2 specialty dining, and then they gave you I think it was like the ultimate beverage package.
Yeah.
But then if you paid $175 for our 7 or 8 day, you got the premium package, which includes top shelf liquors, and then also bottled waters, energy drinks, and all that other stuff. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. That's definitely the way to go. And Captain Roger, gangsta. My new favorite captain. Captain Roger was the best. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. So I know some people might have been ticked off, but as far as I'm concerned, Captain Roger's the best. Best captain on any ship ever. Why would they have been ticked off? Because he was just straightforward. He just anyway. This is what happened. We pulled into Grand Cayman. It was windy as hell. I stepped out on the balcony. You'll see in one of the videos when it comes up how windy it was pulling into Grand Cayman. And we've been there a bunch of times. And we already know when the wind is like that at Grand Cayman, we ain't stopping. Especially when we had, because you have to tender there. So you have to anchor and then tender. We had anchorage 4. So we got there a little late. So there was no shelter from the wind, nothing. The tenders were bobbing up and down. We pulled in, and I was out on the deck recording, and I was like, yeah, we're definitely not stopping here, right? Sure as shit, we just spun the ship. The ship just spun around, and we left. Captain got on the on the PA, made an announcement. He let everybody know that we're not stopping in Grand Cayman. He's sorry. He's apologizing. And then he said, I know from experience, people get upset and they go to the good people at guest services and they complain and take it out on them. He said, listen, guest services knows exactly what you know. It's my fault. I'm the one who made the decision. We're not stopping there because I made the decision on behalf of safety. The people at guest services have nothing to do with it. You want to blame somebody, blame me. And at 10 a.m., I'll be at guest services if you have any questions. Gangsta. That was the way to handle it. I mean, honestly, I thought that was pretty awesome. I've never heard a captain just come out and just say, hey, listen, this is the way it is. But unfortunately, the day and age we live in now, cruising is, just become a victim of its own popularity. Sometimes you get people on board who just expect everything to go perfect. And unfortunately, you're on a giant ship in the middle of the ocean, and Mother Nature sometimes just ain't letting you pass. That's it. Can't control it. You got to deal with it. But some people get all up in arms. They get upset. They yell and scream. They come back on the last day to remove their gratuities. And that's another thing I can't stand. If you're on a cruise and you're going to remove your gratuities on the last day, bro, listen, just stay home. Just stay home. Anyway, we'll move on for that because that's one of those things that just burn my ass. So, what do you think about the go-kart track?
I liked it.
I liked it too. Too big. It was just too big. There was no reason for it to be 3 stories other than to say I have 3 decks. Other than to say I have a 3-deck go-kart. I think the problem I have with
I like the length of it, and I don't know. I had a good time on the go-kart.
Yeah, we had fun. Even though the guy smashed me, the guy smashed me and knocked me out of wind. Like literally, all the wind in my lungs have just left. Like I just gave it all up. Like he hit me so hard because the person in front of us was driving slow and really didn't. You could tell it was preteen or young teenager. Really, probably first experience in a car, and I was going really slow, and we all just bottlenecked and got the wind knocked out of me. Polished my clock. So I just think the problem with the go-kart track was it was just the way it loomed over the pool deck, the way it loomed over the pool. It was just so massive. You just sat over the pool, and then that took away from lounger space and space to sit out and get sun. On a ship that size, it wasn't necessary. I just think it was overkill. You notice at night, it was 1 car at a time on track, and you was just racing for time trials at night. And then during the day, it was all of us. So I don't know. All I know is I got the shit knocked out of me. Good too. That guy hit me good. Like he hit me like I owed him money. Seriously, he hit me hard as hell. So. Anything else you would like to add?
So it sounds like from some of the commentary that it was extremely or potentially a negative or not enjoyable cruise. In my opinion, far from that. I had an amazing time. I had a lot of fun. Whether that was going to the clubs, dancing at the pool, talking to people, just just enjoying the environment. I had a good time, even with some of these things or hiccups that are being mentioned. I had a great time.
Oh yeah, let's get it straight right now. I think the ship was absolutely dumb. I think it was one of the stupidest ships I've ever been on, design-wise. I had so much fun on that ship. I mean, listen, we just came off the Disney ship, couldn't stand it. No nightlife, no nothing, can't stand Disney, never going back. First day, we was on Norwegian, they tried everything they can to piss me off. Everything. You'll see in the vlogs will come soon. They were doing everything they can to piss me off. I wind up having a great time on that ship because the people on board really made the difference. They had a real DJ, that had a real DJ controller, that played great music, that, we were dancing and having fun. Sea day, we were out there. There was military jets flying over. I couldn't tell exactly what jet they was because they were so high up, but you could hear them, and they kept buzzing the ship. and they started playing the Maverick movie, the Maverick, the Top Gun music, or whatever, and had a whole bunch of fun. Room stewards were great. Bartenders were amazing. Customer service was great, even though they gave us a silly answer, but they still was great. Had fun. I had a blast on that ship. The nightclub and having a nightlife was awesome. It was awesome. I love ships that have nightlife where you can just go out there and listen to music and dance. That's always gonna be, one of those catalysts for me if it's gonna be great or not. So yeah, and Norwegian Epic, another polarizing ship, one of my favorite cruises I've ever been on. Norwegian Encore, one of the worst cruise I've ever been on. And Prima started that way. Like everybody was even worried, like, man, we're going on another Norwegian ship that's new, right? I'd be like, oh, how's daddy gonna react? I had the time of my life. It was absolutely fun. It was fun. And day one, I was like, next time I get on a Norwegian ship, punch me in the face. By the end of it, I was like, I wonder when Viva's coming out. You know what I'm saying? So I had fun, and that's what good food and good music does. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'll recommend it. I guess it all just is up to you. I mean, we caused a stir on the last sea day. Me and Nancy were out on the pool deck causing a stir. You know what I'm saying? We caused this, bro. We really did that. And so.
If anybody was on our sailing and have video, please.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Oh yeah. The 3 kids that were recording us dancing for their TikTok. Yeah.
Not even just the other people.
Just everybody. Yeah. So anybody on this sailing got video of us just acting up. So yeah, just
love to see it.
Just let me know. So, and if you sailed on Norwegian Prima, I would like to know what your experiences were. I know a lot of other people who've been on it who felt exactly the way I felt. They thought it was a silly ship. It was pretty horribly designed, but they had fun. So, yeah, I mean, I have fun. I'll still stick to my guns on when and when not to sail on Norwegian. When a ship is absolutely brand new, first few sailings, don't go. The week before it goes into dry dock, don't go. The week after it comes out of dry dock, don't go. I always think those are the worst times to be on a Norwegian ship. Other than that, you give it a little time, you let them work it out, and yeah. You too can have fun. Anyway, anything else you want to add?
Only other negative thing, and it's not even really negative, it's more of a recommendation, is they need a midnight pizza bar. Midnight pizza.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, you need pizza. You need pizza.
If you wanted food at nighttime, you had to go to the local.
Yeah.
Which is sit down.
Yeah.
And order and all that other jazz. They need a place where you can get quick, fast food.
Have pizza all like other ships do. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's the only other thing. They need late night pizza.
Yeah. They definitely need to serve pizza all night. So.
Mm-hmm. It would actually save them a lot of time inside the local.
Yeah.
And they probably end up spending a lot less money, right? Because you don't have to staff it.
You don't need all that staff.
You just need cheap ingredients to make pizza.
Oh yeah, exactly. So yeah, they definitely need a late night pizza bar. Mm-hmm. I mean, every cruise ship needs a late night pizza bar. And if you think about starting your own cruise company, make sure you have a late night pizza bar. Because if you don't, chances are it's not going to work. So, but anything else? Anything you can think of?
No, I think we covered everything.
I think we covered everything. Anyway, if you have any questions, any comments, I mean, leave them in the comments below. You know what I'm saying? And vlog videos coming up soon after this goes live. And until the next adventure, deuces.